Good morning, everyone. Today I want to take you along on one of our typical homeschool days. We usually start pretty slow, so I'm making myself a mug of coffee. I call everybody down. Today they just saw a rabbit in the backyard, so they all headed to the window to look after that one. And then they come to the table to start our girl devotion time together. So now that we're done with our devotion time, I usually get Evelyn down, give her milk and cuddle time in the morning, and while that I go ahead and read a chapter or two out of our literature-based learning program. This is especially nice because it covers basically reading, language arts, and writing all in one. So we only have to keep going with a little more bookwork later. Also, this program covers some additional learning opportunities. In this specific book, it takes place in France, so there is a lot of geography or cultural learning included. And we just printed some pictures of the Notre Dame Cathedral, which the girls are coloring while I read aloud. When we're done with our read aloud, we basically start our dictation work. We switch days, so we do either dictation or copy work. This morning it was dictation, so I start dictating some sentences to the girls. They write them down and then we go over them together. Here you can see that my alarm just rang, and that means we're pretty good in time today. The little ones know that ringtone, so they mostly come running around the corner, waited until they come here. So you see Joanna running around. Now that we're done, I put Evelyn in her playpen so that I can help the girls transition over to the table. So when we're done with our girls' devotion time and started the language art we come over to the table to get the rest of our table work or book work done. So basically, two girls are always working at the table while one practices music. They do have these calendars where it's written what they have to do, and then they can simply cross it out. Now their grandparents from Germany are coming, so they have some days off, and then they can go through their calendar on their own and work through it. And Mondays they have their evaluation cards, so they fill out what they liked last week, what they didn't like, what they would love to do this week, and then some projects. So this is what it looks like here. While our oldest is working at her music practice right now, practicing some hymns here. Afterwards we will have breakfast. So now we're moving on to our next block. We're done with breakfast. The kids usually go into the living room and I open a video on YouTube. These are the Good and Beautiful sports videos and they really enjoy them. They're about 10 minutes long, so that gives me enough time to get Evelyn ready and clean up our breakfast.
Good. Now let's put them out like a T and roll them in circles. There you go. And backward circles.
Soy débil, Señor, y ciego, agobiado de horrores, pecaminosos deseos y apartado de tus dones. Libérame de mi maldad, bendíceme con tu bondad, sosténme, Dios, en tu gracia,
So now that the kids had their time to wiggle around, they're usually okay sitting down for a while, and at the beginning we're always trying to figure out who's going to sit where, and when we're ready we start with our faith basket.
Leviticus 41 through 57. So it's probably all, I don't know how long, but probably all the chapters. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper for the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall go out of the camp, and the priest shall examine him, and indeed, if the leprosy is healed in the leper, then the priest shall command to take for him who is to be.
So now we're reading from the Bible. We use the 1-year Bible. I really enjoy it as it breaks your readings down to a portion of the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Psalms, and the Proverbs every day. So you basically could make it through this Bible in a year if you would read every single day. It'll take us a little longer as we're using this one specifically for our morning basket time for the days Monday through Friday, and at night Jonathan is reading different parts of the Bible. Afterwards we will add our short devotion, followed by the answers books for kids from Can-Ham. We really enjoyed those so far. We are at volume 3 right now. Unfortunately, we didn't make it until that today, as we had some interruptions, and one of those was that the rabbits were coming back, so everyone headed to the windows looking outside, and we took advantage of that, just admiring the creation and putting down the book, which we can still read the next day. And then we will continue with our morning menus, which is truly one of my favorite parts during that time.
Colossians 3:12-14. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with. Good morning.
Buenos días.
Good evening.
Buenas tardes.
Good night.
Buenas noches.
See you later.
Hasta luego.
Encantado de conocerte.
Encantado de conocer.
You're Always There for Me by Joanna Fox.
When the
World comes crashing in and chaos rules my mind. I turn to my heart to you, Lord, and pure sweet peace I find. You lift me out of trouble, you comfort me in pain. You nourish, heal, and cleanse me like cool, refreshing rain. In times of joy and bliss, when things are going right, you lift me even higher and fill me with delight. You listen to my prayers, you hear my every plea. I know I'm safe because I know you're always there for me.
By Joanna Fox.
We said that. Rabbit loved carrots. He collected them wherever he went. Rabbit was proud of his collection and burrowed it away in his cozy hole. But Rabbit had a problem. A big problem.
Jehová, Señor de los cielos, glorioso sea tu nombre, el Rey de los universos y Redentor de los hombres. La lluvia en los árboles, las alas de los ángeles proclamarán tus bellezas, pregonarán tus riquezas. Soy débil, Señor, y ciego, agobiado de horrores, pecaminosos deseos y apartado de tus dones.
So now that we're done with our faith basket, we usually take a break. It's simply a break where the older ones relax and chat a little bit, and the little ones are getting ready to either go upstairs, play quietly, or heading outside. Today the weather was beautiful outside, so they of course asked me to go in the backyard, which I totally support. We really want to see the kids playing a lot outside. Julie, my 6-year-old, which is still sitting on the armchair, was revisiting some of the books we just read, but also decided quickly that she wanted to join the little ones outside when she saw them heading out. And we have spring around the corner here, but living in Wisconsin, it is still pretty cool, so dressing up the little ones to make sure they are warm before they head outside. And next, which you can see just in a minute, I like to clean up just a little bit to prevent getting too big of a mess around here. Picking up more often during the day is what I found to be really helpful, preventing a huge mess and being overly exhausted by the end of the day to clean up. So this is what we'll do here. Clean up and switching baskets to keep going with the bigger kids then.
Y un manantial de colores, magnánimo en santidad, espléndido en caridad. Jehová,
This you have to give up.
Señor de los cielos,
24 through 35. When Israel had finished killing all the inhabitants of Ai in the open wilderness where they pursued them, and all of them, to the very last, had fallen by the edge of the sword.
So as you can see here now, we do mostly read alouds during this time. We have a huge basket with different subjects in geography, science, all the subjects I consider more important for upper elementary, and there is quite a bunch inside. We can't possibly go through that in a day, but it is just what we call enrichment time. So the girls come over and they get to choose out of this basket what they want to read that day, and then they do have their backpacks downstairs with just different things in to keep their little hands busy while I read aloud. And usually my baby falls asleep during that time. Today she decided she wanted to stay awake, but that was totally fine. She was pretty happy and content with all the books around her and just enjoyed hanging out with us there.
Soy débil, Señor, y ciego, agobiado de horrores, pecaminosos deseos y apartado de tus dones. Libérame de mi maldad, bendíceme con tu bondad.
And here my older one had to stand up and check if the camera was still working as my alarm ran. So just keeping real life up here. Baby also wanted to get down and crawl around a little bit. We have baby gates at different points, so she's pretty safe moving around at that level, but she also enjoys just crawling to the window and watching her siblings running around outside. That makes her quite happy as well. They of course thought it was super funny to open and close the door all the time, which makes it quite chilly, so I had to stand up after a while to tell them please not to open the door all the time. As you can see in a moment, I could cut these moments out, but I thought this is real life with 6 little kiddos, and I just want to be honest how it looks like here. We can't sit down and do school 3 hours without any interruptions. There are little ones coming needing help with shoes, there are toddlers spilling a glass, there are babies that need a new diaper, and that is our life. This is our season, and we're very glad with it. Of course, every day looks a little bit different, but I hope you enjoyed this little peek in our homeschool day, and until my next video, stay blessed.